Welcome to our West Highland Way virtual race, and we thought it'd be fun just to sort of meet together for half an hour or so, or maybe a little bit longer, and just to chat about the virtual West Highland Way race for 2020. So I've got Ian Beattie with me and Keith Hughes. So thank you very much, guys. Ian looking very smart in his tartan top, and Keith looking very Australian with the blue sky and outside. So thank you very much, guys. And we've got a few questions that have been asked already. If you've got a question that you'd like to ask Ian or Keith or myself about the virtual race or anything really about West Highland Way, then feel free and I'll bring those comments on hopefully. But I thought just to start with, guys, maybe you could just tell us what you've done today. Have you been out running, walking, enjoying the countryside, enjoying the weather? So Ian, maybe you can start, please.
Yeah, good evening, John. Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much. It's been quite an exciting day for us because this is the first day I've been able to see my mum and dad for a couple of months. So I did a walk this morning, Sandra did a run, and then we headed through west to Kilbark, and then we spent a couple of hours in the back garden observing social distancing. But it was lovely to see them and lovely to catch up again and get back through. So that's the first time being able to do that. Such a nice day to sit out there. We're very fortunate. So yeah, great, really nice day. Not much in the running sense, but quite special in other ways. Yeah.
And your haircut, I see, is starting to come back a bit now.
Well, this is 3 weeks. I'm glad we didn't do this 2.5 weeks ago. It might have looked slightly scary for people.
Yeah. And Keith, what have you been doing today?
Yeah, just more or less a similar thing. I've not had a run today. I've got my wee bloke Alfie today, so. Yeah, we went down to Granton, and he's just learnt how to ride his bike. So we rode along So he rode along on his Spider-Man bike in the sunshine, and we're riding along down towards the Crammon Park Run course. So we just rode along the foreshore there, and then paddled at the beach and threw rocks in the beach, and then went to go outdoors and came back, and I've just been sitting in the garden and playing in the paddling pool all afternoon and in the sunshine. So that's pretty much been my day, which has been absolutely magic. Because Scotland in weather like this, I saw your post earlier on, Ian, about going for runs in weather like this, but it's much easier to be sitting in the back garden having a nice cold beer and having a paddle in the pool, you know. But yeah, that's been my day anyway.
Good.
What about you, John? What about you?
Yeah, today I went up on the braes. I try and go most Saturday mornings, so I did 15 miles this morning, and it was amazing. I ran last Saturday, and I needed 2 tops and a waterproof and gloves, and it was so cold and miserable. Whereas today it was just amazing. I took loads of photos and videos, so I had a great time. So that was this morning, and then this afternoon we went down to see our daughter Laura. Laura is due her 3rd baby any moment. The due date was Sunday, so she's 5 days over. So she's desperate to get this 3rd baby out, and that will be our 7th grandchild. So very excited. I'm waiting for him. We know it's a boy. He's on his way. Maybe even tomorrow. We'll wait and see.
Yeah. Well, good luck with that. Hope it goes well.
Well, it's easy for me. I haven't got to do anything. Okay, we've got a few people watching us, and people can comment. Sandra's just said good evening, even though she's next door to you, Ian, so that's good. So if anyone's got a particular question about the race and how it works and what your thoughts are, maybe you've worked out your training plan and you'd like to share that with us, what you're going to do and how you're going to do it as a relay team. We thought we'd just have a little bit of interaction. So feel free to put a question or a comment and we'll bring those on. But to start with, Ian, maybe you can tell us what was the reasoning behind doing the virtual West Highland Way race. We've got the race, and then we've got the evening celebration on the 20th, which will be live on this channel. So just tell us the reasoning behind doing this event.
Well, I think I would say, before we even start about the reasoning, I would say that this has been down to people having great ideas. You, John, having an idea for the evening, Adrian having this idea for what he wanted to do, the virtual race. And I think it showed the nature of how we all work as a group. It's been people just pulling things together. We talk about it and we try and take it forward. So, Keith, you've been massively involved as well in the preparation of that. So, huge thank you to the 3 of you who have really been the key drivers of this. I've sat very much back and sort of chipped in as and when I can, but the detail of the work's been done. The idea has really been a bit. I think we all recognised it was going to be quite a potentially difficult weekend. It was going to be quite a sad weekend. My dad asked me today. He said, "How long has the race been going? Is this the first time it'll not have taken place?" And I said, "Yeah, since 1985. That's right." And I think we were all feeling this is going to be quite difficult. So to put something in place was certainly an idea that we'd all been thinking about independently. We'd all had our thoughts. And when we started seeing some of the more detailed ideas like from you and Adrian, John, then I just thought that looks great. It's a real chance to bring the family together, do something that's a bit of fun, and that's what it's all about. Nothing too serious. And it'll give us a chance just to celebrate the race. And I think the response has been brilliant, and that's probably a reflection of the fact people are feeling the same.
Yeah. Have you got the numbers, Ian, just to update us on how many we've got?
Yeah. I was just looking. I think we're at about 428 in total, including the relays. I don't have the split between. I think roughly 300 individuals. I think
373.
373. That's great, and it's people from. It's not just people from Scotland. It's people from all over the UK. It's people from all over the world. I think I was just having a look there. I think we've got 15 overseas entrants as well who want to do this. So it does reflect the normal profile of the race, where people all throughout the world are wanting to take part, which is just fantastic. I think it'll keep us going until next year when we can all get back as normal. Yeah,
we've got a few comments. Wilson Dornan says, "What a lineup." John Cassidy says, "Evening all." Fiona Rennie says, "Good evening." Jenny Reese Jenkins says, "Hi all." We've got a few more coming in here. Let me see. John Curran, "Hello from Edinburgh." Sandra's waving again. Alan Hewitt, "Hi all." Donna Mitchell, "Hi everyone. Quick question. Can you bag miles to..." Oh, I'm going to come back to that one because I just want to do the intros first. We'll come back to your question, Donna. We've got... Happy Saturday. I'm not quite sure you say that name. And Susan Law, not yet signed up, but Marianne Sterling and I are gearing up for our first West Harlem Way. Helen Munro says, "Hi guys." And John Fulnam says, "Hi Charity, and Charity to Sam, awesome." Yeah. Okay, so a few more. I'll bring those in as we go along. So maybe Keith, you could tell us a little bit about how the idea evolved. I know Adrian, yourself, got together and thought about how to do this in a way which was safe and a way that was enjoyable. So just tell us a little bit about your thought process to come up with 95 miles over 9.5 days and 3 legs.
Yeah, so I guess the ethos, as you said, John, and Ian's just said, is to make it a fun event. So we're trying to work out how to make it fun, but still be constrained with the constraints that we've got around social distancing, and we didn't know what would be open and all the rest of it. I thought, oh crikey, we don't want people going up to the Mulgai at 1 o'clock on the Friday morning and running 95 miles. But we want to have something to focus the family, everybody that's involved in the race. So how do we make it accessible and doable? So by spreading it out over the 9.5 days, or you could literally run, 9 miles every, or 10 miles every day, sort of for 9.5 days, and you'll get to the end, which is well doable for the majority of people that have taken part of the race. And or not, obviously anybody that's got a goblet, you can do that easily, But given in mind that people may not have been up to training and all the rest, we needed to make it very accessible and a good challenge, but at the same time a bit of fun. And for this reason, we thought about obviously the relay teams. Initially I thought, imagine 3 really fast runners. How could we get what sort of time could we get for 3 really fast runners if you had somebody doing 6-minute miles for 5 miles every 2 days, what sort of team time could you get, And then we sort of thought, well, what about the other end, So we don't want to just we want to focus on all the other people that have been involved in the race, and hopefully we've got a number of the multi person teams over 3 that maybe people are only going to run, 5 or 6 miles or 10 miles over the whole period of the week. But that's great as well. And finally, we get a chance for all of our our support crews and all the rest of it to be a part of the gig as well. So yeah, I think the ethos was always on fun, and as Ian has said, it's really down to Adrian. I contributed a little bit. Adrian punts some ideas around, and we tinker around the edges, and what about this and what about that for an idea, and how's that going to work? And yeah, so that's more or less where we've got the whole thing from over the last 3 or 4 weeks,
Yeah, and I think when Martin Stone got involved from SI Entries, I think he was a big help as well, wasn't he? Trying to do it so that we could actually record people's times, how long it's going to take them.
Yeah, it was one of the constraints, if you like. We could have a relay team of 15 people, but trying to get everybody's time recorded was going to be a little bit of a challenge. So that's why we thought, all right, so you can have a solo entry, you put your own time in. You can have a team of 3, and you can record, John, Keith, and Adrian, or John's time, or Ian's time. The 3 of us all put our own time in, or the team leader does, and then obviously you've got your multi-team where the team captain just says, you know what, we'll just record the time as a total, and obviously that's down to the team captain. So, but yeah, the guys from SI Entries were very helpful. They worked through what was the art of the possible, and that sort of moulded the direction of the race as well.
Yeah. Great. We've got some more comments coming in. There's a lot of love for your shirt, Ian. Karen Donahue, love Ian's shirt. And Helen Munro says it's fab, eh? So I think and we have actually got an announcement in a few minutes' time about the merchandise, because a number of people have been asking about a buff and about t-shirts. So I'll just hold that for a moment, but we'll mention those in a minute. I just wanted to put up on the screen just one idea. This is what I'm planning to do. Now, I must confess, guys, that when this idea was first mooted, we had a Zoom call, and I wasn't that keen, if I'm honest. I've seen these virtual races, and I just wonder how they worked. And then when I saw it, when it was outlined, I thought, oh, this is good. So initially I was going to do it with Katrina, and we were going to do it as a 2-man team and maybe sort of get a third person. And then more and more people were entering, and all my friends, and I was thinking, I can't miss out. So I've decided to do it as well. And I thought I would just put on the screen just what I'm planning to do. Now, for me, I like to have some rest days. So I'm planning to run for the first 36 miles. I'm going to do a 6 on the Friday, 20 on Saturday, and 10 on Sunday, and then rest on Monday. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 12, 10, and 5. Rest on Friday. Have 26 on Saturday, and finish off 20 with a 6 on the Sunday. So that was my plan. And if anyone else has got their thoughts, I've got one more that I'll just put on the screen here, which this is Sherry Carr has shared hers, and I think she must be overseas somewhere, because she's got 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I think she must be American, and she's planning to do 5 miles, 10, 13, 8, so 36 by the Monday, and then she's doing 5, 10, 12, 27, and then she's doing 8, 8, 13, and 21, 3 miles on the last day. So there's going to be different ways of doing it. So I know you 2 guys are doing it as well. Have you thought yet how you're going to split up your running, walking, mileage? You're going to do the same amount every day, or have some bigger days? So just give us an idea. Maybe Ian, you could start and tell us what your plans.
I don't think I'm as developed as you, John, in terms of having such a structured plan. I've been coming back from injury the last couple of months, so this is just a chance for me to get activity in my feet. And if I put in context, yesterday I went out and did a 2-mile run, and that's where I am in terms of my running. But I've been doing quite a lot of walking, so I'm looking at this as I'm going to make sure I cover the distance within the three checkpoint periods. So I will walk, and I'll probably try and do maybe 15-mile walks at the weekend, and I might run some, and I'm just going to take it a wee bit as it comes and add it up. But I think it'll be interesting, because I was trying to think, right, suppose I walk all of this, what will I still be able to get under 35 hours, which you would in the race? And I think, yeah, I should be able to do that. And it's a bit of an eye-opener when we think about the actual race and the course. We do a lot of walking, there's no doubt. We do a lot. And even people averaging 4 miles an hour are still still coming in 24 hours. So
I think it might depend, Ian, whether you go up Arthur's Seat a few times or whether you just stay on the flat.
Yeah, I went out the other night and I've got a wee plan in my head. I've got a 10k loop starting from the house that goes right round Arthur's Seat in the road and comes back. So that's probably going to be a mainstay of what I do, John.
Yeah. And how about you, Keith? Have you planned out how you're going to try and tackle it? You're doing the relay, so slightly.
I'm doing a relay. So myself, Matt Stoner, and Mike Johnson are doing the relay together. We sort of had a quick chat the other day, and we're just going to basically flex it out. So we're doing 10 miles over the 3 days now. You know, I sort of like the idea of doing a minimum of 5 or 6 mile on one day, and maybe an easy day, a 4 mile the next day. Like I said, I've got my wee bloke that I need to look after. So Matt's working and Mike's busy and stuff like that. So yeah, we're just gonna factor it in, and yeah, as I said, we'll over the 9.5 days we'll get our 30 odd miles each done. So yeah, we'll just split it up evenly, but no real sort of defined plan. I know that Scott Wesley, I'm going to name check them so that they actually get to do it. I know Scott Wesley and Norman Duncan and Ali McLeod are 3 men in the baby team. I know that they're all set out to do it, and I know Carrie and Chuck, based in Chamonix in France, are also signed up to do this as well, though not yet. So everybody's going to have individual teams, and I imagine the people in France are going to have a lot more altitude than us here in Scotland, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've not really got a defined plan at the moment, but yeah, we'll see how it develops out. You know, it won't be speedy, regardless.
Okay, I'm just thinking, for every ultra I've done since I started in 2007, I've always had to guess my time, as it's been part of my little sort of blog and tradition since. So maybe I should do one for this, because I could do it, couldn't I? I could see how long it would take me to.
John, I'm sure we could throw in a spot prize for the person closest.
Okay, well, let's do that. I'll set that up, and people can guess my time. Right, we've got a couple of questions, so let's answer these. Donna Mitchell says, "Hi everyone, quick question: can you bag miles to make up for days you can't run or walk?" So this has been a question a few people have asked, whether if, say for example, on the first weekend up until the Monday they do 40 miles rather than 36. Can they bag the 4 miles and put that into the second leg?
Will I take this one, Keith?
Go on.
Yeah, I mean, I think my view on that is we're trying to keep people within the 3 sections. So ideally, we want people to do the mileage in the 3 sections. But against that, this is a fun event, and nobody's going to get particularly fussed about small things round the edges. It's all based on trust. It's all based on individuality. So yes, the rules are there. It's I think it's 36 miles to the first checkpoint in day 1, and then 27 day 2, and so on. But if you have to make a couple of tweaks, don't worry about it. What we didn't want, and Keith's mentioned it already, and I think I would say is, we don't want people going out and doing 95 miles at one go. That's not what it's about. It's not what at the moment the regulations are about. And we certainly don't want people driving more than 5 miles if the current guidelines are in existence to sort of say, I have to do this bit on the West Highland Way. We don't want that. We want people to do this within the existing constraints so that everybody has to be able to tick the box to say they've complied with the government guidance. And that's probably the main things. Apart from that, it's all a bit of fun.
Yeah,
it is a bit. I'll just add to that. It is a bit of fun. I mean, and we've all got our different constraints. So, you know, I've got my little bloke to look after every 3 or 4 days. You know, so there might be days I can't run. So I will be having to bag some miles, but then my team can take over and all the rest of it. Yeah, I mean, it's all on honesty anyway.
Yeah,
you know, but yeah, try and follow the ethos of the event. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the key thing here.
Okay, excellent. We got a comment from John Munro. Really nice to see all these people joining the broadcast, and then thinking, "Jings, these are my pals. Love you. Love the West Highland Way family." So that's nice. And Sandra, who just came in with a drink for Ian there, agree, John. Hope everyone has a wee drink. So it's
well. The only sad thing about that is that we can't give John a big hug and a ding ding.
That's right.
Which I know he loves. I know he loves both of them.
Yeah. Donna's just come back and said she's on night shift from the 15th to the 19th, hence the question. So I think she's thinking it'll be very difficult for her. So obviously in those circumstances, we'd much rather Donna did it, aren't we? And if she has to sort of bag a few miles before, so that works out, it's fine. Right, I've got a couple of questions here, guys, that I think have been asked and have been answered on the Facebook or on the West Highland Way on the website, but I think they're worth just asking again. And there was a question from Andrew Macmillan. He said, can I do it even if I didn't have an entry for this year? And I think a few people wondered that. They thought maybe because they hadn't had a place for this year's race, does that mean they couldn't do this? Was it only for those who had a place? So, Ian?
Oh, absolutely not. This is for everybody. Anybody who's got any connection or interest in the race at all, we'd like to see as many people do it. So no, it's trying to be inclusive, trying to include as many people, and hopefully we will. Hopefully we'll get. But I think the numbers have been fantastic so far, and hopefully we'll see even more join in the next few days.
Yeah, and
I guess the only thing on that is that people really do need to be mindful of some of the mandatory checkpoints and conditions of entry of the race. We all know that, for example, and they'll need to do a bit of research. They'll need to know what the checkpoint at the end of Loch Lomond is. I mean, what do you do at the end of Loch Lomond? What do you need to look at? Maybe you'll need to look at what happens at mile 61. What particular thing you need to eat. You know, it's not all about, it's not given to you on a plate. But, you know, apart from that, I think it's pretty open to everybody.
Keith, if you could just move to your left a little bit so we can see you.
Oh,
yeah, just a little bit. That's fine. Yeah, just that you were coming off the screen. A question maybe that you could answer, Keith. Nicola Dunn wants to know, she was asking Becky whether she'd be a team of two. But maybe you can answer that because no, you've gone the wrong way, Keith. Just move over a bit. Oh. No, this way, the other way. To your left, that's it. That's it. That's you. Now we've got you. Good. So
your other left, Keith.
Yeah, there's a couple of people are asking about being a two-man team. So what were your thoughts if they want to be part of the three-man relay, but they've only got two people, and so just two of them are going to do the miles? Is that okay?
Absolutely. Why not? And maybe if the form doesn't let you do it, then put in a dummy third entry. I mean, I'd like Killian Journet to be my third member of my team if I was having a virtual team, and I couldn't find another pal to join me. But no, absolutely, as Ian says, it is just down. If you want to do it in a team of two and you're going to do 48 mile each, then crack on. You know, absolutely.
Excellent. Got a comment from Ronnie McElroy. West Highland Way race. West Highland Way family rocks. Good to know others are there for you. So that's good. And we've got a good number of people, almost 50 people who are watching live. So welcome to everybody. A nice comment from Scott Williamson. The great thing about this event is that it is encouraging a whole lot of other people to join the West Highland Way race family who would not otherwise have considered the race. I've already convinced a colleague to do it who usually only does 10Ks. And I've seen a number of people like that who've made comments saying their support team, there's no way they could do the race, but this is their chance to do the West Highland Way race. So I think that's been great, and that's maybe not something that we planned for, I don't think, but has been a lovely consequence of the fact that we're opening up to everybody and they can have a go. Yeah.
I was speaking to a mate of mine in Australia last week, John McKelvey, who ran the race in 2009 or 2008 with me, and he's got his two prospective son-in-laws coming along, and they're both blokes that haven't run a lot of distance before, but yeah, they're up for the challenge. So absolutely, yeah, the more the merrier.
Yeah, and we
team going.
I think, John, that's one of the things I've always liked about the race itself. That I first got involved in 1998. You've seen people come and go, but the enthusiasm that the new people show just is fantastic. And the race means so much. It continues to happen, and I think we're seeing the same again. We're given an opportunity for people to come in, get involved, see this West Highland Way race family. That's just been great.
Yeah, we've got a couple of comments. Amanda Hamilton says we are a team of two, and they've entered their dog as their third runner, who but we're not going to count his miles. And a lovely comment from Craig Beattie. I followed the race for several years, but not ready to step up yet. However, this virtual event is ideal, so I've already signed up and looking forward to it. And I think that's exactly what you've just been saying, isn't it, Ian? You know, that this is going to give people a chance to do that. Helen Monroe says, Keith, too flat for Killian, she reckons. He wouldn't be interested in West Harlem Way. Devon Scott, I'm working too, Donna, but persuaded my crew to do some miles as well. Devon was one of the girls that I was following for the podcast for this year. And I know she's, like the rest of us, disappointed she couldn't do the race. But she's in a relay team, and she's got some friends to help her because she's working. Keith Ainsley, can we still be sweepers? I suppose if they want to be at the back of the field, that's fine. Sandra, teamwork makes the dream work. Oh, we got a question here. John Fulham, question. Explain the checkpoints cut-off mileage. I thought you found to do the 95 miles over 95 miles as a cumulative total. So if I did 50 miles in the first 4 days, then I only have 45 for the remainder, though maybe I've misunderstood. So maybe just explain that again. He's thinking he could do 50 miles in the first 4 days, and then for the last 5 days, he's only got 45 miles to do. Whereas the way it's been split up with the checkpoints, it's 36, 27, and 34, I think it is.
Well, I'd like him into this, John. I think part of this is us trying to make sure we respect the government guidelines. And particularly, I know there's people throughout the world doing this. Scotland, we're a wee bit further back than we are in England. And there's still a great deal of caution about what we should be doing and what we shouldn't be doing. We're not trying to encourage people to say, I go out and run 40 miles and that means somebody has to come and collect, and that means you have to try and go to a toilet somewhere and all the rest. So the idea was, let's make this achievable, split it into 3 sections where people can do it. We're not going to get into these issues. And that's really why. And it ties into this not wanting people to do the 95 miles in one go. That's not the ethos of what we're trying to achieve here. It's trying to do something that's compliant with Scottish Government guidelines.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted this question actually, because this one I think is a little bit confusing to somebody, because I know the Centurion race was different, but basically this is Peter asking on the Facebook, on the website. It says on SI entries you'll display cumulative time. I assume that only when you're actually walking and running rather than the overall. And there was this question, Keith, about some people thought if I start at 9 o'clock on Friday morning and then I run for a couple of hours on Friday, a couple of hours on Saturday, a couple of hours on Sunday, and I finish my 36 miles on Monday morning, do I count just the 6 hours I was running, or do I count the whole time it's taken me from the start to the finish? And I think the Centurion who've just done their 100-mile virtual race, that's what they did. So can you just sort of clarify and just emphasise the fact that ours is different to that, please?
Yeah, absolutely. It is the time you're out running. So if you're busting out a sub 4 hour 36 miler, then good for you over 2 or 3 days, and that's fine. If you're running 10 miles on the Friday morning and it's taken you 55 minutes, then that's one of your 10 miles. Alternately, if it's taken like it's probably going to take me, it's going to take 2 hours, then that's your time. It's your cumulative time over the total of your 36 miles or over the 95 miles that you're doing, and you just add them up and you plug them into the website. And be that, even if that's a 5 miler in the morning and a 5 miler in the afternoon, just add up the time of those 2 5 miles. There's no benefit to running them all in a one or whatever. Just run it how you see it,
Yeah. And then just a couple of quick questions maybe. There was one question on the website saying, many of my runs are on a treadmill, is that okay? They just wanted to, this is Melissa, she just wanted to know whether it's okay to do some of it on a treadmill.
Yeah, I think the answer to that is entirely happy with that. And hopefully everything we've said before backs that up. This is an individual challenge. If you want to do it in a treadmill, that's fine. And some people, that might be the only option they've got, depending where they are. They might be working. Yeah, absolutely fine. No issues at all.
I think people...
Fair play to them, because I couldn't imagine 25 miles on a treadmill.
I know, I agree.
So good luck to them.
Yeah, but I think maybe people who are self-isolating and not allowed to go out.
Absolutely.
So that's, if they've got a treadmill, then, that's one option, isn't it? And then the other question, I think, which has come up a couple of times I've seen on questions, do you have to include elevation, or is it just the distance? And I know that was an issue, maybe particularly about the front end. That some of the relay teams, are we going to say they have to do a certain amount of elevation? Keith?
No. Ideally, in the ideal world, we'd love to all be out there on the trails and in the hills, but we can't prescribe that because people are in different circumstances. Now, I'm going to try and get up Kynaston Hill, which is literally a kilometre from my house, and do some of my miles up there. I'm lucky enough to have that right on my doorstep. Some people aren't, and so no. It's, once again, think of the ethos. It's all about fun. It's all about inclusion. Yeah. And if you can get up hills and you want to run up hills, which I think we all do, then crack on. But it's not a prerequisite at all.
Yeah, I think it was quite interesting. John Munro on the West Highland Way family Facebook page, he put a breakdown of exactly what the elevation is for each stage and everything. And so if people wanted to try and replicate it, they could. I know our friend Andy Cole, who's done the West Highland Way 10 times, he's decided he's going to try and work out that he does the right amount of elevation for each section. And that's great, because Andy's like that, he likes to sort of plan that. So if people want to go that next step, they can do, can't they? And they can add in a little bit more if that's what they want. Okay.
No sticks, though.
Sorry?
No sticks.
No stick. Okay. No sticks. Yeah.
Have some bloody respect.
Brilliant. Okay, we do have a particular question for you, Ian, and this is from Sharon Hassan. She says, "Can Ian give us a song? Has he got a new one for the occasion?" And Sandra's looking a bit worried there.
Yeah, well, I'm glad Sharon asked me that, because I watched this morning one of a fantastic piece that she put together. I think she was playing about 8 different instruments, which she had managed to piece together at the whole time. So she might have a role for future West Highland WHWrace music. That's what I could say. I'm not sure I'll add my backing vocals to that, but we never know.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you to warn me, and if you were going to sing, I was going to take my earpiece out, so I wouldn't have to. I wouldn't have to listen to it. Now, I think this is the right time. Now we've got about almost 50 people watching. We're halfway. Well, we're not saying halfway, but we've got a good number. So I want to just reveal the t-shirts and the design. God, that's the wrong one. I want this one. Okay, so basically what Adrian, at very short notice, he's been able to get together with the folks at Run and Become and the different things, and we've been able to produce 3 different items for sale. So on the left there, we've got the 2020 Men's West Highland Way tee, and it says the trails will still be there. You probably can't quite read that unless you've got good eyesight. And then we've got a buff, which is the normal buff that we have with 2020 on the signpost as normal. And then we've got a women's West Highland tee as well, which has again got the trails will still be there. So £15 for each of the t-shirts, £12 for the buff, and they're available now. You can go to the West Highland Way website and go to the 2020 race and drop down, or 2021 race now actually it says, and drop down to the shop, and then you can put your orders in. And I think you were saying, Ian, it might take a couple of weeks before they actually get them, but they can order them from now.
Yeah, I think the plan Adrian had said was to try and post them out around about the 9th or 10th of June. So order them now, get the batch, and then it will be sent out. Not dissimilar to the way we do for the race, where we get the orders a bit later and send them out. So similar type of thing. But don't hang about, because they won't be there forever. And I know there was a lot of interest in people trying to get some garments and so on.
Yeah, and we've got some reactions straight away. Helen Munro, fabulous. Well done, Adrian, and your team at Ron Hill, Run and Become. Amanda Hamilton, good buff colour. Devon Scott, that buff I knew you'd deliver on the colour. Obviously, a favourite colour for Devon. John Curran, good stuff. Never thought I'd get a West Hallam Way T-shirt. So you've got to finish it first, John. And Tony Whitaker, love a bit of race merch. So there's going to be people going on there. I just want to say at this point as well that besides the race, we've also got an evening celebration. And so it'll be live on this same page on Saturday the 20th of June. It'll start at 7 o'clock and hopefully we'll finish round about 8:30. And we've got a great lineup of speakers. We've got Paul Giblin and James Stewart. Those who've been following their podcast recently, I've asked them to do a little 10 minutes between them, and they're going to talk about what the West Hallam Way race means to them. We've got Alan Young, who's one of the guys who's been involved since the mid-80s when the race started. We've got Siobhan Killenbreck, who won the race last year, and we've got Rob Sinclair, who's the current record holder. We've got Neil McNichol and Fiona Rennie, who've done the race 15 times each. So we've got a number of people that we're going to give sort of 10, 15 minutes to each of them and interview them. And again, like today, there'll be opportunities to ask questions and put comments. So it should be a really fun evening, and we'll be right near the end of our virtual West Hallam Way race. We'll just have Sunday morning to go. So hopefully most people will have finished the majority of their miles. And the other thing we've got is a quiz, and we've got 2 rounds. And I've asked different people to ask the questions. I've given them the questions, but they're going to ask them. And then we've also got like an observation round, which I won't tell you any more about, but the mainly multiple choice or observation. So you won't have to know loads of history about the West Hallam Way. You can guess. There'll be 3 answers, and you can give it as good a guess as anybody. So hopefully it'll be good fun. You'll need a paper and pen to write down your answers, and we'll think of a way of collecting in the scores afterwards. But that should be a fun evening. So I don't know whether, Ian, do you want to just say anything about that evening as well, and just encourage people to join us?
Yeah, I think it'll be great fun. I think it'll be a good chance. And some of the speakers have got just the experience amongst them, and the different. From people that have been involved so much to some of our champions of the past and so on. I'm really looking forward to hearing that as well. I think it'll be a nice way to spend that Saturday evening when normally I would have been standing at the Never Centre waiting for the first runners to come in. That would be quite a moving and quite interesting time.
Yeah. I think as well on Facebook you can do these watch parties. So I think I'll put it on about 5 days before. So it'll be there so people can see it. And I think you can join a group, and you can have a group of friends, maybe your support team or runners, and you can join together and watch it together from the comfort of your own home. And obviously if you're in a home with your partner, with a friend that you're allowed to, then who knows what, it might be a little bit more relaxed by then, do you think, Ian? I don't know whether we're able to be inside, I'm not sure.
I don't know. I'm probably thinking that this phase will still certainly, but they're talking about 3 weeks, so we're likely to be on the edge of maybe things will have changed if it goes well. All the politicians have just said that they don't see that they're reluctant to give dates because it just depends on progress that's made. So I think we have to assume we are where we are at the moment, and then if anything beyond that's a benefit, I think. Yeah,
I was going to mention one other thing as well. It says on the instructions that you can't use Strava to upload your distance, because that was just going to get too complicated. But what I thought it would be quite fun to do is just set up a Strava group. So I've done that, and the last I looked, there was over 300 people that had just signed up. And it's just a fun thing, and it just means that you can see other people in that group, what they've done that day or what they've done that week. So it was just an extra thing, but there's a good number of people who've put their names down. So that started from now, so you can see what people are doing. But particularly for the 9 days, 9.5 days, we'll be able to see where people have gone. I love it, I'm sure. Do you like Strava, guys? You know, it's great. You can see where people have gone. You can see their photos. You can, if 3 or 4 people run a same sort of area, then you can see where you overlap them and things. So it's good. It's good. In fact, today it was nice. There was a guy that I was up on the Braes, and we crossed each other, and he was running one way, I was running. We said hi. And then a bit later on in the afternoon, I got a message on my Strava saying, "Oh, nice to bump into you." And I looked at his route, and it was quite interesting because he went a slightly different way. So I'm going to check that out because I need to add on a few more miles to my 15 miles to get 20 for the start of my virtual race. So I might have a look and see where he went. Anyway, we're getting to it's about almost 40 minutes. So I don't want to keep going. I think we've pretty well answered most questions. So maybe just to finish with, guys, you could just tell us just what you're hoping to achieve, not maybe personally, but as a race from having this weekend. Anything that you, at the end of it, you'd like to think, well, that's been a success because this has happened.
Keith, do you want to kick off?
I think he's frozen, actually. He
Good.
hasn't moved for a while, so I'm not quite sure whether he's still with us or he's frozen.
At night like that so often, I just assumed that was the norm. I think we've probably achieved a lot of what we'd have hoped already. We've developed this community spirit. We've kept the family together. I think we'll see more of that over race weekend. I hope people have the chance to, and I'm probably speaking for myself, that they can move away from it being a sad weekend, one that we're disappointed that we're not there, and it's going to be tough. I mean, I'm going to find it really tough that first time for many years I've not been as part of that race. But I hope we can sort of accept and come together and all share these feelings, and we can all benefit from doing something a bit different and recognising that hopefully next year we'll be back doing what we all love.
Yeah. Great, thank you. There was just a message from Keith saying that his batteries failed, so he was outside. So but we're just about to finish anyway. It's a comment from Adrian Stott, just reminding us to, if we use social media, particularly on Twitter and Instagram and these ones, if we can use the hashtag Virtual WHWrace. And if you can tag in ultra running as well, and there's one or two others that we can put in, then that would be great, because it would be lovely to promote that. So certainly any posts that you put out there, it'd be great to see some pictures. We'd love to see where you're running your virtual West Highland Way race. It might be on a treadmill, it might be around the streets of a city, or you might be fortunate to be able to get out onto the hills somewhere locally where you live. So let's see some photos as well and some comments, and let's use the hashtag Virtual WHWrace. That would be really good. And I'll just finish.
John, can I just say you mentioned Adrian again. I mean, I think I said it at the beginning, but it's worth mentioning. Adrian, this is really his baby, his brainchild. It's been fantastic. He's also involved in all the merchandising. He does so much for that, and I think he's just one of the people who we depend so much on, and a big thank you to him for that. Yeah,
I would reiterate that, because I think one of the things I've loved about Adrian is that he has moved with the race. You know, when I started in 2007, he'd been involved already for 10 years, longer by then. And I love the way he has embraced the changes, because it has changed over the last 12, 15 years. And Adrian's come with it, hasn't he? And it's great. He's just as enthusiastic now as he was when I first met him, and I'm sure when you first met him. So yeah, big thank you to Adrian and all that he's done. Let me just read out a few last comments here before we say goodbye. We've got one from Devon Scott. It says, massive thanks to the West Highland Way Committee for all your effort finding an alternative to the race weekend. Really looking forward to it. And Keith's come back on. He must have gone back inside. A success would be a great family day out and some banter amongst us all. All the miles, but none of the midges. Yeah, so I think we'd reiterate that one. Kirsten Cowling, you lot are brilliant. I love this race and this whole family. 3 kisses. John Curran, this will be a great challenge. Many thanks for the arranging and for the tips. And Keith Hughes again, don't forget Sam H. So if a lot of people, when they have put their entry in, it was only £5 for a solo runner, and hopefully a few people will have also put some extra money in there. And any money we make will go to that charity. Is that right, Ian?
Yeah, it is, and we should probably have made that point. I should probably have said that at the start, that we're not looking to make any money from this at all. Yeah. There's a bit of cost in terms of setting up the SI entries thing. They put a lot of work in. but it's a pretty low cost event. So any surplus from this event will go to SAMH, which Scottish Association for Mental Health, which I think was chosen amongst the group as being the charity we wanted to support, which is great. I think it's a charity that resonates with a lot of people in the West Highland WHWrace family from discussion. Also, if people do wish to give, then they have the opportunity to do that. But yeah, it's really saying, I think the message is, we're not seeing this as something to build up funds for the race or to cover funds we've lost. It's very much about fun, and if we do make a surplus, we pass it on to charity.
Yeah, and Adrian's come back and said we do have an Instagram account, but encouraging people to follow Ultra West Highland WHWrace, Ultra WHWrace, because they've been great sponsors and they're sticking with us even during this time. So it's the more traffic they get as well is the better. So if you're on Instagram, if you're on Twitter, if you can follow the Ultra WHWrace as well, that will be really appreciated. Thank you. And we got some more nice comments for Adrian. Sandra, Adrian is a selfless, wonderful human being. Helen Monroe says 3 cheers for Adrian. Hip hip. Adrian comes back. Enough, you're embarrassing me. Okay, we'll stop now, Adrian. And couple more comments just to finish. Jenny Rees-Jenkins, it's a fantastic idea. Can't wait. Just need to sign up now. Well, get in there quick, Jenny. And thank you for the run plans. Totally stealing yours, John. So thanks for sharing. No problem. If that helps, then great. Okay, so I think we'll finish there, Ian. That's been a really good evening. Good chance to have a chat and to see you. And good to see you looking well and your hair getting a bit longer now. You'll almost be getting past me. And I'll let people know what happens to my daughter Laura. We're expected any day now, so that'll be fun. That'll be our 7th grandchild that we're looking forward to welcoming into the world.
Well, good luck with that, John. All the best, and thank you for all your efforts pulling this together. Greatly appreciated.
Pleasure. And the last comment, Tony Whittaker. Thanks, guys. Really looking forward to being part of the event once again. Great kickstart for clocking some bigger miles. And Mark Caldwell, where did the 2020 buff idea go? Actually, I don't know if you missed it, Mark. We have got a buff. I'll just put it back on to finish with. So you can buy. That's the wrong one. This one, sorry. Yeah, Mark, you might have missed that. We've got t-shirts, men and women's, and we've got a buff. So £15 for t-shirts, £12 for the buff, and you can order those from the West Highland WHWrace.org website. So that's all there. Okay, let's go. So thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your evening, everybody. And I look forward to seeing your photos and seeing you on Strava and seeing where you're doing your virtual West Highland race miles. And I hope, Ian, that you're able to do a few more running miles than you think at the moment. It would be really good if you can do a bit more running as well and get back to it. I know you've had a few issues with your back. So thank you very much, everybody. And again, we'll hopefully see you in the flesh in the not too distant future.
Good night, everybody. Thank you, John.